Huh?
No, it's on there.
It's only $20. Why don't you just go ahead and subscribe?
Because I'm not that interested. There's like 1 or 2 articles I cared about.
You're cheap.
I don't have the WWE Network yet.
See, you really are cheap.
But one thing I do have, and you do as well, Team Aubrey t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
In support of Tasteless Tony T's daughter, who is battling leukemia and is doing quite well, last I heard, which is great.
Yes.
So we supported it.
We're on the team. Go, Aubrey.
If I get some information from Tony where you can donate to help, I'll let you know. But otherwise, welcome to the first ever Google Plus YouTube Hangout.
Oh, we're on?
Of After the Credit Show.
We're on?
Yes.
We're live?
Yes.
People can see us.
Mike and Metal D are doing it live.
Oh, boy.
People
can actually see us.
There's people that tuned in just because they want some D. That's what I hear.
Me?
They want the D.
Oh, all right. Let's give it to them. All right. What do they want?
I don't know, but I've got some popcorn here that's popped.
I can't. Oh my gosh, it's bright in here.
Yeah, that's so they can see what's going on.
You can see my eyes, guys.
So welcome and thanks for supporting After the Credit Show.
Yes.
If you're watching this live, I hope that you're subscribed already. And if you're watching this later on, hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, it's free. Why not?
Because we'll be doing this again.
Even this cheap ass will do it for free.
There's lots of things I'll do for free.
We won't go there.
So
yeah.
What are we going to talk about?
Movies.
Well, until we get a few more people listening here, we're going to talk about Marvel and their movie universe.
Fair enough.
Movies that have come out and movies that will be coming out.
The whole universe or just by the Marvel Studios?
Just by Marvel Studios.
Oh.
I got to keep it smaller.
Well, let's give it to them. There was a lot of different movies, that weren't covered in the Marvel Studio stuff.
Well, let's go where it started. Iron Man.
Oh, okay. So you want to start there?
Yep, we're going to start with Iron Man.
So you don't want to go with like Punisher?
No, we're going to leave Punisher, not Avengers, Blade, and all those out of this. We're starting with where they were building to the Avengers.
Okay, Iron Man.
Iron Man, you get Robert Downey Jr.
Yep.
Great casting.
Yeah.
Tony Stark is a guy that's
an
alcoholic.
The internet, though, didn't like him, though, at first, before the movie came out. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
With every superhero that they cast, you get the same old, oh, he's going to suck. And then the movie comes out, oh, he was really good.
You know a person I didn't hear much of that about was Edward Norton as the Hulk Bruce Banner.
You didn't? You're right.
People were on board with that. They're like, Edward Norton's a huge fan of the Hulk. He's Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
And that was the second movie that came out in the Marvel-verse.
Yeah, it was much better than that Ang Lee version.
Oh, God, that was terrible.
Yeah.
I went to that in the theater, and I still feel like I got ripped off, and I didn't pay to see it.
I understand your pain.
Oh.
That was not good. No.
Then, there was Thor.
Thor. Was it Thor?
I believe it was Thor.
Thor or Captain America?
Thor came first.
Thor came first?
Yes.
Okay.
We did a lot of homework for this, as you can tell.
I did it. Maybe him.
But Thor, to me, I've never been a huge Thor fan.
I was at one time.
But this movie was good to me.
Well, it was.
I went to it in 3D, which was kind of a waste. Like, it wasn't a movie that needed to be seen in 3D.
I remember right, yeah. Except for, like, the last few scenes, it really wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it moved things along.
It was okay.
And then we get to Captain America.
No,
first was Iron Man 2.
That's right.
Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2.
A little bit weaker than the first one, but...
Little? Out of the three, that was the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me.
I
had so much
agree.
promise, too, with Mickey Rourke and everything, but it just didn't...
It's because Iron Man doesn't have these great classic villains like, say, a Batman or a Spider-Man has.
Yeah.
We're bringing in Whiplash.
Yeah,
and we're bringing in Ironmonger.
Yeah, it was okay, but it just didn't... It didn't translate well, I don't think.
Then we get Captain America, the first Avengers.
Right.
Now, I've got to say, they did a good job of making Chris Evans look puny at the beginning of the movie. And for a guy that was in not another teen movie, for a guy that was in Scott Pilgrim, for a guy that was in Fantastic Four, for a guy that was in a run of romantic comedies, really stepped up to the plate to play Captain America.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. You know, better than the original Captain America that they had. I think was 80 something.
You're talking about with the rubber helmet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And to go back even further back, Thor was actually in
the Spider-Man.
Well, I was gonna say an Incredible Hulk episode way back when, like in 1981 or something. After the series went down, I can't remember. Like, it was a court-martial or something of Bruce Banner or something. I can't remember.
And then we get to Avengers, the big movie that ties them all together.
Yeah, it did, and it actually brought in more characters there too.
Yes, we got our Hawkeye, our Black Widow, which had been introduced briefly, but and we get a new Hulk because we have to get a new Hulk every time.
Yes, well, of course.
I read a quote from Mark Ruffalo where he said that playing Bruce Banner was the equivalent of playing Julius Caesar. That everybody gets a shot and has a different take at it.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting. Well,
and now we've had Thor 2, and I was disappointed in Thor 2.
Yeah, I was too. You know,
they did such character development with Loki, and he just kind of was there.
My problem was after the Avengers, they kind of said, okay, if anybody ever needs any help, okay, we'll be there for you. Well, you know what? Thor was in quite a jam there.
Well, let's go to Iron Man 3. He was in quite a jam there, and none of the Avengers showed up to help him.
Exactly, but I don't know. Why don't they show up? Why? Throw somebody in there. I don't care. Hawkeye or somebody.
See, and now we've got the new the Captain America 2, the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And we get Black Widow in there.
See?
And Falcon. And it makes more sense. It's the Captain America movies are like the basis of where the Avengers movies are going.
But nobody helps out poor Thor.
It's true. He's only a god.
Yeah.
With a hammer.
You know, one thing about these movies, though, it makes you stick around for the whole movie.
Exactly. You stay till after the credits and you watch that stuff. I laugh when people get up and leave.
Yes, and you know what? It makes everybody stick around for even the non-Marvel movies out there now because they think, oh, well, something might happen after the credits.
Well, recently I watched the Veronica Mars movies. There's 2 scenes after that.
There you go.
So.
Yeah, so that's where we got our name, after the credits.
Exactly, because you need to stick around.
Yes.
All right, we have a question here, kind of related to that. What did you think of the Hulk battling the Hulkbuster suit in the Avengers 2 concept art? I thought it looked interesting. You probably haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, but
I'll let you you take it.
I thought it looked neat. We need to do something to have Hulk be able to beat something up without like inspiring kids to go out and do violence, because we wouldn't want to do that.
Why not?
I don't know, but it looked cool. I'm much more excited about the way Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver look in this movie than they do in the X-Men Days of Future Past that's coming out, because they look very 80s in Days of Future Past, whereas in this they look more modern, I guess, if that's how you want to say it.
Well, don't quote me, but where does the new X-Men take place at in the whole?
It takes place all over the place.
Okay.
It takes
I
place
thought
in
it
the
was going to be
future.
after First Class, but yeah.
Right.
Okay.
We're getting a bounce back and forth.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to that one, though.
The Cash Man, if you got some questions, we are here for you, my brother. Because I know you want the D, the metal D. He's
Me?
right here, yeah. It says it right there. I want the D, metal D.
Yeah.
So.
Cannibal Corpse.
We only have 2 viewers. This is not going well.
Well, it ain't over yet. It's early. You know, you got to wait for people to get off work and whatnot. You know.
All right, if you say so.
Swig of Coke. No whiskey.
Some Mountain Dew. Because they look very 80s in...
So, what are you reading?
I am reading Entertainment Weekly.
From last month.
That's because it was talking about the Veronica Mars movie.
I just got this in the mail today.
With King Joffrey.
Yes.
I recently have watched the Veronica Mars movie. I thought it was very good, yes. It'll be interesting to see how it does on video on demand, because it was released the same day in theaters as it was video on demand.
It's being released on DVD, I think, early May.
Good.
Yeah, didn't take them long.
I'll get to watch it again and again and again.
I don't understand the whole hype behind it.
Did you ever watch the TV show?
No.
Okay, there's your problem.
Okay.
All right, we got a question.
You know, another one that I can't understand the hype. We'll get to your question here in just a second. It's Divergent.
I don't know. I have no real interest in watching that movie.
The trailers, it looks like teeny bopper movie. I mean,
it's the Hunger Games with science fiction. More science fiction.
Great.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, forget it. I'll let you review.
It's a young adult, based off a young adult novel series. So
you can review that one. I'm not watching it. Okay, what's the question?
How would you book the future Avengers and/or future Justice League tie-ins? Go for it.
How would I book it?
Yep.
You're the comic book nerd here. I just judge the movies. I don't know how the hell I would book it.
I think what really needs to happen after, say, Avengers 2 is we need a real build on the Hulk. We need to get to the Planet Hulk storyline in a Hulk movie, and then have him come back to Earth, and we have World War Hulk as our third Avengers movie. All the Avengers fighting Hulk.
That's unfair.
Don't you think that'd be awesome?
Sure.
Hulk smash! Over and over again.
Now, I'm not a comic book nerd at all, obviously.
But you go see the movies.
Well, yeah, I go see the movies. Back when I was a kid, though, I did have, somewhat of a modest collection of comic books. There was this series out. Now, I don't know how this would work. I don't even remember who was actually in it, but I remember it was a very successful series that Marvel had out. It was called The Secret Wars.
That would be awesome.
Remember that?
The only problem is Marvel's given off some of the main characters that would need to be involved in the Secret Wars. Because Spider-Man, he's over in Sony.
Yeah, go figure.
So
as
for the Justice League movies, I would not do it the way they're doing it, where they're like, well, we had a moderately successful Superman movie, so for the sequel, let's just throw all the Justice League characters in there. Then we'll do a Justice League movie.
Yeah, that seems kind of pointless.
There's no slow build like Marvel did. There's no anticipation. You're just giving everybody everything right away, and there's no build to it.
Well, I think that, there have been Batman movies, there's been Superman movies. I think there at least needs to be a Wonder Woman movie.
But, they need to slowly build to it.
Right.
We need, Flash showing up at the end of the movie, and then he gets his own movie. Kind of the way the Marvel did it. Right. Only Marvel did it with S.H.I.E.L.D. being the bridge between each movie.
Hmm. DC is owned by what, Warner?
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe Warner needs some money.
Maybe.
So maybe they're putting it on the fast track for that.
I agree that Divergent does look like a bad ripoff of Hunger Games, Ender's Game, and Twilight. I completely agree with that.
I have yet to see Ender's Game. I saw 45 minutes of the first Twilight movie and had enough of that garbage. So none of that.
That's
to me,
45 minutes more.
I've only seen the first one. I have not caught up with the second one.
The first
one, though, to me, was a rip-off of a Japanese movie called Battle Royale.
Yeah. But the second movie is a lot better than the first movie, because after I saw the first movie, I'm like, I do not want to see the second one, and then I got drugged to it anyway.
Oh, fair enough. I just could not get into the...
Have you ever walked out of a movie in the theater because it was so bad?
I've been tempted, but I never have.
I have. Wasn't really by my choice, but nobody liked the movie we were at anyways. It was an old movie called Josh and Sam. It was about, I don't even remember.
Isn't that about two kids that steal a car?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
That's about all I remember about it.
I faintly remember it.
I've never seen the end of it, and I don't really care. So
I saw it a long time ago. I think back in the old VHS days, and that was about it.
A movie I was
don't remember.
Taken out of was I went to see Good Will Hunting with my dad and my sister, and my dad said there was way too much swearing for my sister, so we left the movie.
I laughed at people as they walked out of movies. I saw an old couple walk out of Pulp Fiction. So what were you leaving for? It's a great movie.
Sometimes you have to know the movie you're going into before you get there.
Yeah, 30 minutes into it, they were gone. I guess it was all the F-bombs.
Well, it was a Tarantino movie. They're like, that Quentin Tarantino seems like such a nice guy. We need to go see him.
Well, and it had that broken up narrative. They were probably confused.
And they're like, oh, John Travolta, he was in The Sweat Hogs, Back on Welcome Back, Mr. Cotter. I gotta go see him in that movie.
He's not dancing very well here. He's not singing with Olivia Newton-John.
Because you're the one that I want.
Stop. Ugh.
How How do you think Noah is going to be?
You mean the one with the big boat and a lot of animals?
It's gonna rain.
The story's in the Bible, but I'm sure that Hollywood's going to take some liberties with it and throw some crap in there that probably didn't happen or wasn't written about in the book. I'll be honest with you. The special effects in this movie look really good.
Yeah, that's about the only thing.
That's about the only thing. The special effects look good in 2012 too. But I mean, does that make a good movie?
If Russell Crowe wants to go do these movies and I don't have to go see them, I'm fine with it. I'm not a huge Russell Crowe fan. If this is what Hermione from Harry Potter wants to do with her career, good for her. But
there's a lot of religious movies coming out here. They just released Son of God. Now they're going to do this one. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Must be that time of year.
It's Easter. That's what happens in Easter.
What does Noah got to do with Easter?
It's from the Bible.
But that has nothing to do with Easter.
Sorry, that's just how it is.
Right. Well, don't you think that they should have released Noah first and the Son of God later?
Probably.
In the whole scheme of things.
But remember how good The Passion of the Christ did in theaters. That's really what kind of brought religious movies back into the
But it's been a long time since Passion of the Christ. It's been 10 years at least.
Yeah.
I guess they're going to have a new run on them. Maybe they should redo Moses. Anything that they should remake? Let me think.
Who would you cast as Moses?
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston as Moses.
Oh, it's been done, hasn't it?
I think I'd go with Mark Wahlberg. What do you mean? I got all these commandments. What are you talking about?
Rules? What do you mean rules? Sean Bean. There you go.
Okay.
Sean Bean as Moses. Why not?
Sorry, I was telling people that they should be watching us.
Oh, yeah. You got any questions out there?
I know you guys talked about the Dark Knight trilogy. Can you talk about the Burton Schumacher films?
I could talk about the Burton films if you want me to, but the Schumacher films give me a headache.
Let's do it. We got aspirin in the other room.
Oh, okay. What do you want to do? Start with the first one?
Yep.
Okay. I like this one. I revisited it here recently, I'd say maybe a couple of months ago. I actually got a Blu-ray copy of it, finally. It looked fantastic.
This movie is dark, as a Batman movie should be.
It's dark. The picture is just dark.
Yeah.
As for holding up after all this time, though, it doesn't really hold up. I mean, you could really tell that these are, sets. They're not set like they're not
right
filming it in a city or anything like that. These are sets.
And it doesn't hold up in the way that some of the script is written. There's a lot of monologuing. There's a lot of long scenes where they're like,
absolutely.
Well, we made this set, so we might as well have people talk for about 20 minutes.
Yeah. But, I mean, the performances were still good. The performances themselves still held up. I thought Definitely was fantastic in it. And, Michael Keaton was very respectable as a Batman.
Definitely.
Didn't have any problems with that whatsoever. All in all, doesn't do the same things that did for me back in '89 when it was released.
Exactly. When it came out, I was Batman crazy. Everybody was Batman crazy.
Yeah, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing 3 or 4 Batman shirts all over.
Definitely.
So.
Then Batman Returns came out.
Yeah, and originally I liked the movie because it showed more of
because you thought Michelle Pfeiffer was hot.
Well, that too. that helped. I guess the only thing, I'll be honest, I did not like the Penguin. Danny DeVito fit the bill. I just didn't like it.
As you rewatch it, the Penguin's whole plan, it's a little sick and twisted.
It is. It is.
When you rewatch it, it's like, really? This is what they based the movie on.
I don't know. It's just some guy coming up out of the sewer, They build him up to be the.
You got Christopher Walken in there.
No problems with Christopher Walken. It's just a story.
You sadly have Billy D. Williams in there as Harvey Dent, thinking that later on he's going to get to play Two-Face. No, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
Sorry, Lando.
Nope. Unfortunately. But jeez, I gotta go back and revisit this movie.
See, I recently watched it again. It holds up for me better than the first movie does, because there's not as much monologuing.
Right.
There's more action. There's more story going on.
And that's what I remember it too. You know, it showed a lot more of the Batman's gadgets and whatnot. It had a lot more Batmobile in it than the first one did and whatnot. And, you know,
gotta sell those toys.
Exactly. And you know, he had two people that he was kind of battling here instead of just one. You know, so that.
And then there's the third Batman movie.
Oh.
I'll let you kick it off.
Was it Batman Forever? Val Kilmer came in as Batman in this one, and you know, as Batman, he was okay, but he just didn't sell it for me on him being Bruce Wayne. I thought he was just too young to be a Bruce Wayne.
I'm gonna be honest; it's been forever since I've seen Batman Forever.
Me too, but I'm just going on my memory. I just remember him being too young as Bruce Wayne. It's probably about the only thing that I really didn't care for.
Who was the villain in this one?
Wasn't that Jim Carrey?
Oh, was it Jim Carrey's Riddler?
Yeah, Jim Carrey.
And Uma Thurman, or was it?
No. It was Tommy Lee Jones, Two-Face.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Jim Carrey, good as the Riddler.
My memory's better than yours.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey was insane as a Riddler.
Yeah,
I like that, but there just wasn't enough Two-Face in this movie, from what I remember. I mean, you know, I think that it got to be too much. They just tried to do too much with these two villains and whatnot. I think that if they would have had it split off, you know, and had just a Riddler and then maybe Two-Face in a different movie, fine. But there was just too much going on.
And one of my favorite parts of this movie is at the end with Edward Nygma, Jim Carrey in prison, and he says that he knows who Batman is.
Yes.
Well, you gotta say the magic word.
Yep, I remember that.
He's Batman.
He's Batman. Yep.
And then we get to George Clooney as Batman, with Christopher O'Donnell as Robin and Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl.
This is where your Uma Thurman comes in.
Yeah.
Along with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Alfred.
Schwarzenegger played Mr. Freeze. And boy, was that stupid. How's that for, you know, dumb casting? Yeah. Schwarzenegger?
Everything that Arnold Schwarzenegger says is like a bad catchphrase about being cool.
I only watched this movie once because it was too painful to revisit again. I couldn't do it. So if you can convince me to revisit this movie, I probably will, but it's going to take a lot of convincing.
I think we just have to move on now away from this Batman talk. We kind of covered the other movies.
Can we?
Yes.
Is there any more questions?
What are some films that you would like to see remade?
Ooh.
And would you like some popcorn?
No, I'm good, thank you. Films that I hate remakes. I guess it would have to be a really crappy movie. You know, something that needs an update. You know, because a lot of these movies, they don't need an update. You know, all these horror remakes that were made, like Texas Chainsaw, Friday the 13th, and you know, Nightmare on Elm Street, and they didn't need to be remade. The originals were fine.
What about Rob Zombie's Halloween, though? It was a different feel to the movie.
No, I hated Rob Zombie's Halloween. I'll go into why. I don't need to know that much about my serial killers. I don't need to have all that background story. I just need to know, okay, he escaped from a mental institution. He killed his sister. Okay, now he's coming back. Okay, that's scary enough. I don't need to know that he was beat as a child. It almost made him out to be a sympathetic character more than it was a scary guy who's going to come and kill you, and you don't know why.
Fair enough.
You know, I did not care for that. And as for 2, unicorns. What's the point of the frickin' unicorns?
The only movie that I could think of that I'd like to see remade is there was a movie I watched way back in the day, and I only want it remade just because the title is awesome and it's hard to find a copy of this movie. And it's called Blood-Sucking Nazi Zombies.
That's not one I've seen.
So when I worked at the video store, I rented it like 3 times. Then the video went missing, and I got blamed for it. And I'm like, if I had blood-sucking Nazi zombies, I would admit that I had it. But
wow.
what are some films that have disappointed you?
What, like remakes?
Just in general. Movies that you were like, this is going to be awesome, and then it sucks.
Thor. That's a recent one. The Dark World, I expected so much more.
The Dork World.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that one really disappointed me. Green Lantern.
Yeah.
It was really kind of disappointing for me.
I agree.
I'm just going off the top of my head. I wasn't really prepared for the question.
The Hobbit. It was not.
I saw the first one. I have not seen Desolation of Smog.
Neither
I liked the first one. I thought the first one was okay. It was a good start. But you got to keep in mind that this story is probably good for 2 movies.
Yeah.
And not 3.
They're on 3.
So it got a little bit drawn out, I think, in spots, and he had to add more because they wanted 3 movies out of it. So I could understand some people's disappointment on it, but I liked it.
Right.
Going back to remakes, the Friday the 13th remake really disappointed me. They were going to combine the first 3 movies all into one, and it had promise. But then I got to think, okay, Michael Bay's behind this. Okay, I know I should temper my expectations. But then I was watching it, and I was like, oh my God. I mean, they're basically Jason turned into a disgruntled pot farmer.
Pretty much.
And from what I remember in the original Friday the 13th...
I don't even know if I saw the remake, now that I think about it.
In the original Friday the 13th, I don't believe that he ever held people hostage.
No! He doesn't need to!
Exactly. And where he kept them hostage looked eerily familiar. It looked like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre sets.
He has a machete, and no need to keep hostages.
Very disappointing. Anything that Michael Bay is really disappointing. There you go. Transformers, all of them.
You be careful because Ninja Turtles is going to be a great movie.
Oh, here we go.
It's going to be awesome.
Sure. Okay, I'll buy that.
Can you guys talk about the Die Hard series? I'd like to actually save that for a separate video, something where we can actually take some time and think about it.
I will mention this. The first 4 were pretty good. Well, okay, the first 3 were really good. Okay.
The 4th one's all right.
The 4th one was all right. The 5th one?
It's crap.
Garbage.
Complete and utter waste of time.
Oh, my God. Terrible. The 4th one, though, I had a problem with. They released it at the theater. You cannot release a Die Hard movie as
PG-13.
PG-13.
No.
Come on. So you had to wait until... the DVD comes out so you can actually hear him say the whole line.
Yeah, yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
Yeah, you can't. Who pays for that garbage?
I went and saw it in the theater. Here's why. I've seen every Die Hard movie. I took my dad to this, in fact, for Father's Day. I like Justin Long.
Yeah.
And Kevin Smith was in it.
I didn't go see it at the theater because I saw next to it said PG-13. I said, what?
I bought the DVD when it came out.
I bought the DVD when it came out because I just wanted to see the unrated version because I knew that it was R.
Well, we said that we weren't going to talk about Die Hard, but there you just got like 4 minutes of it anyway.
We can go more in depth later.
How much would I have to pay you guys to watch and talk about all 30 Godzilla movies?
Really?
Make
all
it a good
30?
number.
There's 30 of them?
Apparently.
There's 30 Godzilla movies? Are you serious?
Probably. There's lots of Godzilla movies.
I probably saw maybe 8 or 9 of them. Not 30.
That means we would have to talk about the one with Ferris Bueller in it, too.
See, that's one thing that I'm hoping that they don't screw up with this new one. I hope this Godzilla does not lay eggs.
Well, you've got Bryan Cranston in this, and let's be honest, he actually reads a script before he signs on for a part.
Fair enough.
So that gives me a little bit of hope.
Well, he could have seen all the zeros at the end of his paycheck, too.
Yeah, but he's coming off of Breaking Bad. He's got money. He's got his pick of anything he wants to do.
Breaking Bad is done. It's over with. He has no other job.
Syndication.
All right. I am looking forward to it. I will say that Godzilla looks more like Godzilla in the trailer than it did in the last one.
But Godzilla did have a kid. There's an old cartoon show.
Godzuki?
Yes.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Oh, that was stupid. Dumb. Wow. That's like Scrappy Doo. That's like Scrappy Doo. You brought that up?
Da-da-da-da-da, puppy power!
But I will say that in Godzilla's face in the new one, he kind of looks like Cloverfield.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Well, where do you think they got the idea for Cloverfield? Let's be honest.
Blair Witch
It's a
Project.
monster movie.
Blair Witch Project, of course.
All right. What do you guys think of Michael Bay and his films? I know that you are a huge fan of Michael Bay's films. That his horror remakes that he produces are some of your favorite movies.
Stellar.
Right up there with movies such as Transformers.
Yeah. Right down the shitter.
Here, I'm going to IMDb this while we're live, and we'll just look at some of Michael Bay's credits here. As Adam Hackey posts pictures of
Pain
himself.
and Gain was okay. That's really, Bad Boys, I guess, the first one, I guess I can stand.
No, we're getting to Michael Bay. We're just going to go with director credits.
That's what I am. He directed he directed Pain and Gain. And
he only has 18.
He directed Bad Boys.
He only has 18 credits as a director.
He directed Bad Boys. He directed Bad Boys 2. He directed
The Rock. Good movie. Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage.
It was all right. Yeah.
The Rock.
Yeah.
Armageddon.
Yeah.
It was a little hokey in parts.
Deep Impact was better.
I liked Armageddon better.
No, Deep Impact. What do you guys think? Deep Impact or Armageddon?
Ben Affleck, Billy Bob Thornton, Owen Wilson, Liv Tyler, Bruce Willis. Come on.
No.
Michael Clark Duncan.
No.
Let's see. What do they think? I don't know. Pearl Harbor.
No. Garbage. Except for that middle part where the actual battle scene happened, the rest of it was bleh.
Bad Boys 2.
No.
The Island with Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson.
The Island?
That's what I call it.
No.
I like seeing half-naked Scarlett Johansson, so I'll give it that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you for that, Michael Bay. Then we got some Transformer movies.
Yeah, just
Pain and Gain, Transformers, and rumored Bad Boys 3.
Please don't. I know Will Smith needs a check, but come on. Really? It's done.
What are your favorite and least favorite James Bond films?
Oh, okay. Now we're up my alley.
Yeah, I will admit it, I have not seen a full James Bond movie all the way through.
What you talking about, Willis? I have seen them all, own them all.
Well, aren't you special?
It's easier to tell you what my least favorite ones are first. So I'm going to go with View to a Kill. Roger Moore was tired at this time. Christopher Walken was a good bad guy, but Roger Moore was just done at this point. I did not care for Living Daylights all that much. The first one with Timothy Dalton. License to Kill, on the other hand, was pretty good. I did enjoy that one. Those were PG-13 James Bond, the first PG-13 Bond, so they added a little more violence and whatnot. Those were all right. Some of my favorites, obviously, are the old Connery ones, but I would say up there in the top 5, I'm going to put On Her Majesty's Secret Service. George Lazenby, in his only role as James Bond, I thought was fantastic. And he got married in this one, and she got killed, and everything else. It was just a lot of stuff going on. Telly Savalas was the bad guy in that. It was awesome movie. Obviously, my favorite is probably Goldfinger. Then I'll probably go From Russia with Love. After that, I would say On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Wow, this is tough. There's so many to choose from.
Well, let's just skip to the second part of the question then.
My worst one was View to a Kill, and I would say my second worst one was probably Moonraker. Didn't really care for that one.
Moonraker.
Well, they kind of sped up the production of that one. They were originally going to do it later on in the series, but since Star Wars hit big, they wanted to have like a sci-fi type James Bond, and they hurried up, and you could tell that it was rushed.
What actor is your favorite to play James Bond?
Connery, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without seeing the James Bond movies, I can tell you it's Sean Connery.
Yeah, Connery. Yeah, no doubt.
We got an answer of I'm not a fan of both films in regards to Armageddon and Deep Impact. I think The Rock is his best film.
He didn't actually do Deep Impact, but Deep Impact came out around the same time as Armageddon. It had, big rock coming from outer space, bash into the earth, and.
This one's right up your alley. What needs to happen for horror movies to regain its former legacy?
Go back to the basics. Back to the basics. If you watch the original Halloween, okay, build the suspense. Don't just have everything pushed up front and center. Build a suspense. There was a movie that came out last year, probably the best horror movie that came out last year. It was called You're Next. A lot of suspense. Had its fair share of gore. Had its interesting kills and stuff like that, but it builds the suspense. It's got to have suspense. If it's just all-out horror and gore and everything else, it's just not going to work. You got to build the suspense. Watch the original of that. If you want to make a really good zombie movie, go to Italy and watch some of those original.
See, the last good horror movie I saw outside of Insidious was probably the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
You had a nice slow build at the beginning. Shit hits the fan. There's a calm part. Then shit hits the fan again.
For a remake, that wasn't terrible, although I'll still go with the original any day that George Romero.
Definitely, because I'm not really a huge fan of fast-moving zombies, but it worked in this movie for me.
You can even go back to Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. Those movies not only were about zombies, but they had something to say about society as well.
Right.
Have a voice.
I also
There's another option for these horror movies. A lot of these horror movies now are just so cookie cutter.
And the big problem with Hollywood and their zombie movies, they think that fast-moving zombies are scarier. No, it's when the slow-moving zombies slowly start to surround you.
The original.
You get overwhelmed, not that you're getting just chased.
The original Night of the Living Dead in black and white. When they're at the cemetery, and you got one zombie coming up there, and you got another one. Then you got another. Slowly build it.
Exactly.
Have them run to the house at that point. You don't have to just all of a sudden shove everything in people's faces. After a half hour, they're tired. And then after that, it's a dead movie.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Build it. Don't just shove it all in everybody's faces right away.
What was your favorite Charlie Chaplin movies?
That's something that I need to visit. I'll be honest with you. I need to visit Charlie Chaplin movies.
So do I. I've seen bits and pieces here and there.
Maybe we should pick out 3 or 4 Charlie Chaplin movies, visit them, and then talk about them. I think that would be a good subject for us to go ahead and look at. Yeah. So stay tuned on that one. We'll get back to you on that one.
I'll make a note.
Yes, we are going to make notes.
Charlie Chaplin.
We'll pick out 3. I think 3 is fair. If you have any recommendations as to what we should watch for Charlie Chaplin, go ahead and post them. Let us know. That's something I need to visit.
I'd like to welcome our 2 new viewers. If you would like to ask questions, go ahead and do so in the comments section.
Hi.
And if you're subscribed, awesome. If not, do it.
Go.
Can you guys talk about The Thing? Both the John Carpenter film and the recent prequel from 2011. I have not seen the prequel.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I've seen The Thing also.
The Thing, 1982. Saw this one in the theater when I was 12.
I would have been 2 at that
Loved
point.
it. Loved it. Still do. Still watch it at least once a year, if not twice a year. Especially in the wintertime. Along with The Shining.
Yeah.
Good snow movies. Even these special effects pretty much hold up. I mean, you can definitely tell that they're dated,
right?
But for the most part, they hold up. I still find the movie very enjoyable. As for the the prequel that came out, picked up right where the I guess it picked up right where the first one started.
Okay.
Because it explained more things with the dog and at the beginning of the film as to why they were chasing the dog in the first place and everything else. I thought it was just a little too slow moving. I don't know. It was okay. It was nice to have that background story and whatnot. But I think it'd be more interesting to have a sequel now of the 1982 thing. You know, I want to know what happened to Kurt Russell's character, you know, after they blew up the place, you know. Did anybody come there and rescue him, or did they just sit there and freeze? Did anybody come back, you know, after they froze and figure, you know, what happened there, you know? So rather than a prequel, I wish they would have did a sequel. There's been some, you know, video games and whatnot that have kind of touched upon it, but I think they could be done better.
Right.
So that, you know, prequel was okay, but just wasn't as good as the original. So that's my thought.
What film or films? Also, thank you, Cashman, for the Charlie Chaplin movies. I wrote down those, so we will look into those. I've heard good things about The Great Dictator, so... what film or films that are considered classics that you guys think should not be considered a classic?
Wow. Throw on an example of something, you know, and I could probably tell you if it is, if it should be. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head that, you know, usually that if it's considered a classic, it's, you know, well deserved.
Well, like The English Patient's considered a classic.
Already?
I think so.
I don't think that's...
I don't think it should be, but...
I don't know. It might be a little too new to be considered a classic.
Maybe.
And I guess it kind of depends on where you're... what you want to... what's your parameters as to what a classic is. You know,
right.
Is it how old it is or how it stood up, you know, after 20 years or whatnot? I would have to say a movie's got to be out at least 20 years before it can be considered a classic.
I have one exception to that. It's cult classics, but...
Cult classics are a little bit different, but I mean a classic would be something that is above cult classic, or even a cult classic that got, you know,
right.
elevated to that level.
Like, say, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Right.
A movie when it came out that nobody really gave a shit about it.
Nobody did, no.
Then it started getting midnight plays, and then they added dialogue and
right.
character interaction, and it became a huge thing.
Yeah, heavy metal is the same way.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it didn't hit anything until it hit the midnight theater runs and whatnot, and it's considered a classic now, and I think that it definitely should be. You know, because the art on that movie...
He gave you an example, like Blade Runner.
Yeah, I would consider that to be a classic.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I you know, which version of Blade Runner? But, you know.
I mean, if you want to say what classics are, basically look at any movie that's being remade right now. Pretty much is based off a classic movie.
Right.
And it's kind of sad that way.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it depends on your parameters. You know, I would, like I said, 20 years or more a movie's been around, then you can start considering it if it's a classic or not, because then you can see if it holds up, you know, as well as it did 20 years ago. Some movies do, some movies don't. You know, Ghostbusters 2 certainly doesn't.
No.
So are you going to consider that to be a classic? No.
No.
So, you know, some people do, though.
Definitely.
So,
this one isn't on here, but I'll just throw a question out there.
What were your guys' thoughts on The Wrestler? Oh.
Okay, I guess there are questions.
I liked it.
I liked the movie The Wrestler. I thought it was great. I thought Mickey Rourke was great in it.
Yeah, interesting casting. You know, I didn't think that Mickey Rourke still had it in him at that point.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody did.
Marissa Tomei is always hot to me. I will watch any movie she's in. Right,
and seeing a lot of those original, I guess you could say, Ring of Honor guys in there.
Yeah.
You know, that was really cool too. You know, and being a wrestling fan, I'm still a wrestling fan.
Right.
You know, being a wrestling fan, you know, seeing a lot of those guys and whatnot, and you know, I don't know how much of it's, you know, accurate, you know, compared to, you know, other wrestler stories or whatnot, but man, it certainly got me immersed in the story by it, you know, on its own.
Yeah.
You know, and I've heard a lot of wrestlers say that it was really good, and you know that they liked it, and, you know, so you know.
The only problem I really had with it is I kind of would have liked to seen like a little bit of history, like when he was in his prime, a little bit more.
Sure.
Just to see like how it is on the road and all that sort of stuff, because as wrestling fans, I don't think people take that into consideration.
Yeah, you just kind of see what happened after,
Yep, after his career's done and all this and that.
Yeah. I thought it was a fascinating movie, though. And, it's one that I revisit once in a while, And
Your favorite 1950s sci-fi movie?
It sucks, but I like it, and too bad. Plan 9 from Outer Space. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Ed Wood is fun, and if you can't have fun, especially with those old 1950s, horror movies, then
I like
sci-fi movies.
I like in my sci-fi movies to have a little bit of comedy. That's why I like the movie Slither. It's got comedy in there, and it's a little bit creepy, and it's a sci-fi, and it's great.
I'll throw in The Blob too. I enjoyed The Blob a lot. The original Stephen Queen movie too. So I could go horror or sci-fi, but I like that one too. But Plan 9, I just after watching Ed Wood back in '94 or whatnot, I just watched that movie, and I think I've watched it probably about 4 or 5 times since. I love it. I don't know what it is. It's got a charm to it.
All right, here's my question for you.
All right, fire away.
Most famous person you've met in real life? For actors.
Oh, for actors.
Yes.
Ooh. Jenna Jameson.
Okay.
She's pretty famous.
How'd that happen?
I was at a video convention in Kansas City, and she was there.
Nice.
Got her autograph and everything. Yeah. Said I was good the night before. That's what it said on the picture. Yeah. Jenna Jameson.
So she was writing it to Mark for you.
No.
Oh,
Mark had no idea. No.
Okay.
Jenna Jameson. And if you don't know who she is, then look her up. She's all over the place on the internet.
Mine is Kevin Costner.
You met him?
Yeah, he was at the Field of Dreams for Netflix Roadshow.
Oh.
Kevin Costner was there, and we watched the Field of Dreams at the Field of Dreams. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
So,
that's cool.
I
could think of another actor that you met that's pretty famous.
Who?
Me!
You're not that famous.
I'm on IMDb.
You have 3 credits.
I am on IMDb. If you don't believe it, look it up.
He is on IMDb.
Thank you.
He played a clown that didn't talk in Boo.
That movie was an award-winning film.
He was in another movie.
Call Me Crazy. I played a doctor.
And he's producing and acting in Special.
No, I'm not acting in it.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a scene.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, just producing.
All right.
So, there you go. Look it up. IMDb.
Your favorite piece of movie memorabilia that you own?
Movie memorabilia that I own? I don't know much. I got my DVD and Blu-ray collection. I don't really have
any autographs or anything?
No. I got a lot of wrestling autographs.
Right.
Mind you, but
I think one of my favorites is right up there. Right there. Picture of Wayne and Garth, autographed by Mike Myers and Dana Carvey.
I don't have anything like that. I met a lot of people in the music world. I met a lot of people in the wrestling world. I haven't met a lot of people in the movie world.
I had the opportunity to go to Pensacon this last month.
Yeah.
And I met a lot of famous people.
Bruce Beefcake.
I did meet him. But for me, I don't need to get an autograph or a picture if you're charging me $20. I'm happy with just shaking your hand and saying I enjoy your work because I can still say I met them. I've only seen one of your works. And you didn't talk during it, so it was the best thing ever.
Yeah, but my presence was felt.
Yeah. Any more questions from you guys?
By the way, that movie, that award-winning film is available on YouTube as well.
Yes, it is. Any more questions from you out there? Because we've got about 15 more minutes, and then we're calling it a night here on After the Credits Live.
Show or Eternal Sunshine? Oh, really? Seriously, you're going to make me pick between those two? Oh, that's brutal.
I know my answer.
That's brutal. I'm going Eternal Sunshine.
So am I. It was the anniversary of it being released in theaters just the other day.
Kate Winslet, blue hair.
It's a great story. It shows you that just because you get the girl of your dreams, that she has her own problems.
Yeah.
And that eventually you might find your way back together.
Huh.
I think it's a great story.
I do too. And don't get me wrong, I like the Truman Show too. I mean, that's what it's a difficult question. You know, I like them both, but I'm leaning Eternal Sunshine as well. You know,
it's funny.
A relationship thing.
My current girlfriend hasn't seen that movie, and I keep saying we should watch it, and she keeps putting it off. But I know that once we watch it, she's going to love it.
She should watch it.
Yes.
You know what else you guys should watch?
What?
There's a series.
The Raid.
No. Well, you should watch that. I mean, that's obvious. If you tell him, you should watch The Raid. Jesus. They got this. There's a series, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset.
I've seen those.
Did you see the new one, Before Midnight?
No.
I have not seen that yet. I do want to see that.
I have a little reason for it, but I can't talk about it on camera.
We're all friends here.
No, we're not.
Oh, okay.
Okay, whatever. First date with my ex-wife. The first night we were watching Before Sunrise, so that movie kind of has that memory attached to it.
You can't watch that movie ever again, huh?
No, I just haven't rewatched it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, they got Before Midnight out now.
Right.
I haven't caught up with that one yet either, but man, those are really good movies about relationships too.
What are some of the worst films you have ever seen?
Worst films I've ever seen. Well, my two worst films from the last 2 years. Last year was Texas Chainsaw.
Didn't see it.
That movie was horrendous. I'm sorry, guys, but man, if you want to know why it was that bad, I'll tell you why. But you're gonna have to ask me in there. The movie that I saw in 2012 that I absolutely hated the worst was a movie called Devil Inside.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't see it, but yeah.
That was. If you guys seen either one of those two movies, I think that you guys will go ahead and agree with me.
Paul Blart Mall Cop is my movie that I hate.
I'm not a big fan of that movie.
If it's on, I change the channel.
Yeah. What are some of the what's a movie that if you're flipping through the channels that you just have to watch if you come across it?
Oh, I can give you like 4 of those. Ed TV.
No.
Truman Show.
Sure.
Wayne's World.
Yeah.
And Groundhog Day or A Christmas Story.
Sure.
I get stuck in both those on the holidays.
Yeah, Christmas Story is one for me too. I'll also go with Goodfellas. Just gotta watch it. You know, I don't care if you're halfway through it. The same thing with Scarface too. I especially like watching Scarface when it's on TV, like on TNT or TBS or something like that, because there's so many F-bombs in that movie. They were really creative on how they got them out of there so that they could show it on TV, I thought.
I'll also add in there Die Hard because the last few weeks they've been playing it and I keep watching it. And I'm like, I fucking was here last week. What the hell? What are some of your guys' guilty pleasure movies?
Ooh. The Warriors.
Bill and Ted.
Ooh. Guilty pleasure. What else do I like? I like an old Dan Aykroyd movie, and this is. Go ahead, pick on me if you want, but I always like the movie Dr. Detroit.
I like that movie.
You know?
Yeah.
But it is a guilty pleasure. It's not one that you hear everybody saying that they enjoy. Or
exactly.
Like that. So those are a couple of my guilty pleasures that I could think of. Reindeer Games was his. I enjoy Reindeer Games. Gary It's been a while since I've seen it. I can't.
Charlize Theron is naked in that movie.
Are you sure it's her?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
You get Ben Affleck fighting Gary Sinise, so Daredevil is fighting Lieutenant Dan. It's a good movie.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that one, so I can't say.
Favorite soft drink?
Soft drink.
Yep.
Aren't they all soft?
Favorite soda?
I like Coke, but I like the caffeine that Mountain Dew gives me. Coke would be my first choice, though.
I drink a lot of Mountain Dew, but I really enjoy Pepsi more. But Mountain Dew seems to be easier to come by.
There you go.
I don't know why
they don't sell Pepsi where they sell Mountain Dew.
At my work, we get our pop for like $1.
Yeah.
And we tend to run out of the Pepsi before we do the Mountain Dew.
How does
We
that happen?
ordered more Mountain Dew.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
Um,
That's funny. If you knew where he worked, you would consider that to be.
I work at Pizza Hut.
Thank you.
I don't care. They can know that.
He works at Pizza Hut and he runs out of Pepsi. That seems weird.
I also am sick of pizza. I eat it pretty much every day.
It just seems weird.
If you guys are AC/DC fans,
yes.
Which era do you prefer, the Bon Scott era or the Brian Johnson era?
Bon Scott. Bon Scott had a much more solid era, I think. There's been some duds in there in the Brian Johnson era. But Brian Johnson, I'll be honest with you, very commendable on replacing him. I mean, he was put in a tough spot, but man, they came up with that classic album, Back in Black, after Bon had died, and they never looked back. I mean, they did not miss a step whatsoever. And but they've had some duds along the way. Look through video.
Every AC/DC song sounds the same to me. So. Yeah,
but they've never done a ballad, so that's cool.
Yeah.
It's good rock and roll. It's good dirty rock and roll.
Did you see Through the Never?
I have not. I've been meaning to catch up with it. I have not. I'm not a big Metallica fan. If this was
Metallica,
if it was 20 years ago, I probably would have seen it by now 5 or 6 times. But Metallica just doesn't do for me what they once did.
Somebody's saying to watch The Raid.
Thank you.
The British Fist says that they're better than After the Credits Show.
Who?
The British Fist.
They still exist?
What's up?
Hi, guys. Didn't know you guys were still alive. How is it over there in England?
NJ wants to know, how do you rate Forrest Gump? It's my favorite movie. That is not true. You enjoy The Marine starring one John Cena.
And The Marine 2 starring Ted DiBiase.
And The Marine 3 starring The
Miz. I like Forrest Gump. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I don't know if I like it as much as I did originally when I saw it. But I do like it. It's nostalgic.
I went into the theater seeing Forrest Gump with Tony and his mom, not knowing what I was going to.
Mm-hmm.
Walked out loving the movie, have watched it many times since. Tom Hanks puts on a great performance. I like the love story in it more than anything else.
It's one that I should revisit. It's been probably 10 years since I've seen it, so I probably should revisit it, see if I still like it as much as I do. Sometimes you got to do that, You step away from a movie for a while, and then you go back and watch it.
Definitely. I recently revisited 12 Monkeys.
Yeah.
Didn't hold up as well as... I used to love that movie in high school.
Yeah.
Now I'm like,
Yeah, see.
Which really sucks, because I really enjoyed that movie, and now for me to just feel like, why?
It almost disappoints you, because I really liked this movie at one time, but now I
don't. Favorite mob film?
Ooh. Godfather. Even Godfather 3, was okay, but Godfather 1 and 2, to me, those were the epitome of mob films. I could go back to, the 30s and 40s gangster flicks that I like, Angels with Dirty Faces, almost anything that had James Cagney in it.
I'm going to go The Untouchables.
There you go. That was
great movie.
That was a good movie. I like The Godfather, obviously, but I like a lot of those ones from the 30s and 40s, too.
Favorite food?
Steak and potatoes.
Nachos.
Nachos?
I love nachos. I don't eat them as much as I used to, but I really love nachos. I love to sit down and watch a movie and eat some nachos.
Oh, are they talking about movie food or just food in general?
Just food.
Oh, I'm still going steak and potatoes.
I love nachos. When we're done here, I might go to the gas station and get some nachos.
You know what I've always wanted to do? You remember the movie The Great Outdoors?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to get one of those big 76er steaks that John Candy ate.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I want to do that challenge. Just have a big wad of meat.
If we do it, we got to film it.
Oh, I know. I got to find some place I can do it.
Yeah. So if anybody out there knows where to get a big, big steak,
I think I can do that. I really do. I think I can win.
While you guys come up with some more questions for us, I'm going to talk about some videos that might be coming down the line that Metal D doesn't even know about, really.
All right. Well, fair enough.
We've talked before about how we'd like to do showcases on certain directors. I think one of the first ones coming up will be Kevin Smith. Mainly just the View Askew, well, it was a trilogy, but now there's more movies in it. We'll be talking about Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Bob Strike Back, Clerks 2.
I'm in.
So that will be coming up.
I like that.
There'll also be one about probably Quentin Tarantino coming up.
Oh, I like that too.
So
I'm in. I can talk about those.
We'll be doing a couple more topic videos. I'm not exactly sure what the topics are going to be yet, but we want to try and up that playlist a little bit.
Fair enough.
There'll be more movie reviews coming down the line.
Yep.
One of the goals I have for August is to do Vita on after the credit show, which is a video every day in August. There'll probably be videos that we have recorded before that and upload.
That's a lot of videos.
Over on my channel, I'll also be doing a daily blog. I'm going to try and start doing that more recently, like later this month. To try
I'm glad that they had the A for August and not April because I'm not prepared.
Yeah, no shit. We also will probably do one of these maybe once a month.
Yeah, if you guys enjoy this, guys, let us know. We'll be happy to do this. But it's fun. I've had fun so far.
Yeah. We'll do this for probably about another 20 minutes and then call it a night.
So we can get to those Charlie Chaplin movies.
Yeah. Have any of you guys played Dark Souls? I have not.
What is it?
It's a video game.
Oh, no.
I
haven't had a game system since the original Xbox, and I barely touched that, so I don't have time to twiddle my thumbs. I watch movies.
I have GTA in my Xbox 360 right over there right now. It's been the game I've been playing, and I'm not tired of it yet, so I haven't moved past it yet.
I can play Donkey Kong.
Any chance on a weekly OTRS wrestling podcast style show on YouTube?
I don't know. Maybe.
There's a lot of moving parts to getting the OTRS crew together. There's Jeff's in Virginia, and there's a time zone difference, which isn't a huge factor, but it's a little bit of a factor. Work schedules. Tony's busy with his family, with work.
Are they asking us to be part of OTRS, or are they asking us to do a podcast similar to what he's doing now?
I don't know. Undead Elvis. Respond to Metal D and we'll on here and we'll.
Oh, he says with all the old members. I think he just did
okay.
That. I did Jeff's first. I believe it was his first podcast that he did. I plan on doing more with him. I think that it's just a scheduling thing because a lot of the times that when Jeff does it, he does it live.
Yeah, he does it on Wednesdays and Sundays.
And it's kind of a question of what everybody else's schedule is. I was available that day, and I'm gonna make myself available on a couple of other of his podcasts. So I'll be on there, I'm sure here soon again.
I know. I talked to him to Jeff the Schleg Daddy the other day, and sometime before Mania, I will be doing a podcast with him. Probably do a couple. It just comes down to scheduling and being in communication. As for Tony, he's pretty much done right now. He's got a lot of shit going on in his life. I don't blame him. I completely understand.
If you weren't here when we were already talking about this is for Tony's daughter. She has leukemia, and she's been battling it since September of last year, and she will be for at least another year with chemo and everything else. So this is why that Tony's kind of out of commission. But we still talk to Tony. We still see Tony. It's just he doesn't really have the time to be able to do those such things.
Exactly, and I don't blame him at all. What he's doing is way more important than a show on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Any thoughts on Darren? I can't pronounce his last name. I know exactly what you're talking about, but
I don't mind him as a director. You should go ahead and pull up his stuff so that you know what we're talking about here.
Oh, fine.
I
can't.
He, some of his stuff is out there. I like Black Swan. I like the Wrestler.
Okay, that's what I thought we were talking about.
But man, I tell you, Pie and Requiem for a Dream and stuff like that. Some of it could be out there. Really
I enjoyed Requiem for a Dream when it came out. I haven't watched it since, but at the time I remember liking it. I really liked Jared Leto. I really liked Marlon Wayans. I really liked Jennifer Connelly.
Right.
And I remember liking it, but I don't think it's a movie I'd ever need to revisit.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. So is Pi.
So is Black Swan.
Black Swan, though, was a little bit more straightforward than Requiem for a Dream. Requiem for a Dream, from what I remember, jumped around a lot.
I remember when Pi came out because, it was the big buzz in my high school was this movie's awesome and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So...
I don't mind him as a director. I think that he's getting better. I wish he would do more. I wish a lot of directors would do more in a short amount of time, but I guess it takes time. Some directors don't direct movies every 3 or 4 years. Tarantino.
Yeah, Tarantino.
Yeah.
But then you have directors like Robert Rodriguez that put out crap.
Well, it's not necessarily crap. There's some entertainment value in it. Tell me you didn't like Machete Kills.
That is fine.
Okay.
But sometimes he makes movies like shorts. And they're not good.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Favorite animated film?
Favorite animated film all time. Heavy Metal's up there. Heavy Metal is definitely up there for me. Definitely not Space Jam. Sorry,
Welcome
Jeff.
to the Space Jam. It's your chance. Do your dance at the Space Jam. P.S. The website for Space Jam has not changed. It looks exactly the same. I posted a link on the Off the Rope show wall earlier today of the old Space Jam website. It is still there with all the links working from 1998.
Wow.
Hell yeah!
Somebody forgot about that one. I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna stick with Heavy Metal. Heavy Metal has always been, one of those. After I saw it, I finally had a midnight showing when I was like 13. It just blew me away, and it's always been with me, and it took them a while to get it released on DVD. I was always watching bootleg copies on VHS and whatnot, but I finally saw it on DVD, and man, it was just awesome. And then I got it on Blu-ray, and I watch it probably once every 6 months just for the hell of it, especially on those nights that I can't sleep.
I've always enjoyed the Disney version of Robin Hood ever since I was little.
Really?
It's the movie that's just kind of stuck with me.
Wow. Usually people, if they're a Disney person, they usually go with like Fantasia or Little Mermaid.
When I went to Fantasia when I was little, I got sick and threw up all over the front of the theater. Fantasia did not agree with me.
That would be my favorite then. I got sick and threw up.
Oh, it's Mr. Parkin. It's not NJ. I'm sorry, Mr. Parkin, Daniel.
Hey, Parkin, what's up?
Probably listening to Oasis.
You still listen to that crap? Hey, I'm going to go see an English band. I'm going to go see Carcass here in a few weeks.
Cash Man signed out. He had to go.
All right,
thanks for tuning in. Favorite movie based on a true story?
Ooh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah?
There's a lot of them. Does Halloween count?
No. I'm trying to think. I want to make sure I can give the right answer on this.
There's so many of them. It's hard to narrow it down. I can tell you one of my favorite ones that comes to mind. I don't know if it's my favorite because I would have to look at some of the other ones,
right.
Stuff like that, but I would say Monster was one of my favorite ones. I really like the makeup job that they did on her, on Charlize Theron. My God, she just looked haggard and everything. She just looked, drug out.
I really liked Man on the Moon.
Yeah, that was good too.
I thought Jim Carrey just captured that character.
Yeah, and from what I remember, with everybody talking about it, he just really grabbed Andy Kaufman's character. I guess he went by Andy Kaufman's name while he was on set.
Yeah, exactly. Just delved right into that character and just stayed there.
That's the thing with a lot of the true stories. If anybody, you got to really buy into what that story is about as an actor before you can go ahead and sell it. I think
definitely.
There's been a lot of them out there that this is based on a true story and whatnot, but
The Social Network was very good.
Yeah.
I think that captured a good story right there.
Does Zodiac count?
I think it does.
Okay, good, because I really enjoyed Zodiac as a recent one.
Favorite movie based on a Stephen King adaptation?
Definitely not Maximum Overdrive.
I am definitely not going to say Yeah, I'm just gonna go away from that because I'm not gonna make a joke. 'Cause it's not funny. The Stand is probably one of my favorites. I'm waiting for the film adaptation because I don't usually have 8 hours to devote to a miniseries.
Yeah, that one was long, but it was good.
Yeah, it's really good. But normally, like
compared to some of the other stuff that was made for TV at that time, like the Langoliers and all that, I didn't care for that.
But like Tony and I would have sleepovers just so we could watch The Stand.
You need a sleepover
because it's like we could start this in the afternoon, but it's going all night.
You need a lot of Mountain Dew for that too. Probably my favorite Stephen King adaptation. Oh wow. There's quite a few of them there that I like, but I would have to say Christine. I like Christine the best, I think. Yeah. I just love the car. It's a car. But I don't know if this will count or whatnot. In fact, it doesn't because it wasn't based on a Stephen King book, but one of my favorite movies that Stephen King was a part of was always Creepshow.
Yeah. Good movie.
And he was in it. He was in it to boot. I love that movie.
The In the Rope Show is saying what's up. They're a new YouTube wrestling show.
Oh, okay.
They have a lot of comedy. I get the feeling I have a lot of old Off the Rope show in it. They have a great theme song. Might be just a tad too long, but...
So you think that I should check them out?
Yeah, you should definitely check out In the Rope Show.
I'll do that.
They have a question, too. What's your favorite film in the Scream series?
I would have to say the first one. After that, it seemed to me that they kept copying off of the first one.
I'm gonna go with the third one because Jay and Bob are in it. Because by that point, pretty much all the scariness of the movies are gone.
Well, yeah,
that one was the hokey one.
Joke after the first one, because it turned into more of a mystery than it did anything else for the other three. So I'm going with the first one because it was actually a little bit original because it did have that mystery aspect to it.
The funny thing is, I went to the first one with my dad, and right after the beginning of the movie where Drew Barrymore gets killed and they introduce us to our cast,
sure.
I turn to my dad and I go, Skeet Ulrich, Matthew Lillard, killers.
Yeah.
And he's like, how'd you do that? And I'm like, just guessed.
Yeah. It wasn't hard to figure out, but at least they had that mystery aspect to it, and it was original. But then it started copying off of itself. It copied off of itself, and then a lot of other movies copied off of it. So I'm going with the...
My dad's going to be so mad!
I don't think I could sit through all four of them. No. I don't. Not in one sitting. No.
Favorite and least favorite Schwarzenegger film?
Ooh. Favorite Schwarzenegger film would probably be Conan the Barbarian.
Mine would probably be Predator.
Fair enough.
Even though I do like Total Recall. Damn it, Copenhagen, give the people the air.
Least favorite, I would probably have to go with Kindergarten Cop.
Eraser. I like Kindergarten Cop.
Kindergarten Cop
was not
in that time. It was in that time in which all the action stars wanted to get into comedy.
Yeah, and Twins was a better movie that did that for him.
Twins and then you got Stallone getting into the same thing, with Oscar or Stop or My Mom Will Shoot or whatever.
Right.
Like, these guys do action. They don't do comedy. It was frustrating.
See, but Schwarzenegger was good in Kindergarten Cop. It was a good comedy. When I was a kid, I watched that movie all the time. Like, we ruined a VCR tape of it because my sister loved it so much.
Well, there's...
Boys have a penis. Girls have a vagina.
Well, it's interesting, though, that, in the early 90s, you had action superstars going into comedy, and it ruined their career. They didn't do shit.
Yeah.
For a long time. Kind of like how grunge ended up going in the early 90s and killing all the hair bands. They didn't do shit either for the rest of their career.
Well, here's
Two things got killed because of bad decisions.
And then you've got all these comedians that they're putting into these action roles now.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Well, shit. You can even go into like the mid-90s when Schwarzenegger did, or Stallone tried to do Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Rob Schneider? Seriously?
That movie? Seriously?
Bad.
Do you think they should do a remake of the movie It? If you bring Tim Curry back as Pennywise the Clown, maybe. If not, no, I don't want to see it.
That book was like 1,000 pages.
Yeah. The movie's like 4 hours?
4 hours, yeah. I would say no. I think it's good enough on its own. I understand why they remade The Shining.
Yeah.
Because Stanley Kubrick took so many liberties with the material. So they redid The Shining for TV and made it more true to the book. I can understand that, but it was already it stayed true to the book. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think that needs to be remade. It isn't one of those ones that's a special effects extravaganza that needs a bunch of special effects either. So.
I also would like to go back to the Stephen King question from earlier. One of my favorites, Stand By Me.
Oh, good one. Shawshank. I think Shawshank's a little overrated. For what it is. But
that is another movie that if it's on TV, I will stop and watch it.
Still a good movie. Overrated? Yes, but still good.
All right. Thoughts on the announcement that they're going to make Toy Story 4, are they? Was that announced?
I don't know. It was just announced right there.
I'm looking forward to the fact that they're making a Incredibles 2.
Yes.
I'm not so sure about a Cars 3. I don't really think we need a Cars 3, but... That's not aimed towards me, so that's fine. Toy Story 4, I will be there opening day.
Bring it on.
I enjoy all the Toy Story movies.
I went to see the last one on my birthday when that came out. Was that 2011, 2010, something like that? Right? I
went and saw, when they re-released them all in 3D, I went and saw them again in 3D.
Fantastic. Cannot wait.
All right. What do you think about Disney making the new Star Wars movies?
I like it.
I like it as well.
Because it got Lucas away from it?
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. George Lucas doesn't know what the audience wants anymore. He's kind of Vince McMahon in that way.
It's definitely not Jar Jar. Thank you.
He doesn't see what people like. He goes, this is what you're going to like. Kind of how in wrestling they're like, like this.
Right. I just, I like the idea that they're going to have it 30 years after Return of the Jedi and whatnot. I like it.
Everything I'm hearing about this movie is making me more excited for it.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas for, the prequels, I was always like, I'm on the fence.
Oh, I was excited for the prequels. But then actually, when I sat down and watched Phantom Menace, I was like, what the hell is this?
I was very happy
this
that you
isn't Star Wars? Who's this Jar Jar guy? Don't even get me going on Phantom Menace. I even had to go watch it twice just to make sure I didn't like it.
All right, this is from In the Rope Show, a channel you should be checking out.
I will check it out.
What movies would best describe your personalities? Or here, I'm gonna rephrase that question. What character from a movie do you most relate to?
Oof. I don't know. Wow. Wow. What about you?
I'll give you two examples. There's this movie that my friends and I love called Glory Days. It has Ben Affleck in it, French Stewart. It's a little movie. Ben Affleck's character in that movie, I'd say, is me.
Fair enough.
At least at one point in my life. I can't necessarily say it's me now because things change. But at one point in my life, I was that character. Just like the movie Empire Records. At one point, I was AJ's character in that movie. The guy that was in love with the girl and blah, blah, blah. My high school girlfriend and I, if I had to relate any characters to that, T.S. and Brandy from Mallrats, that was our story. That was our story right there, with a couple of my friends filling in the role of Jay, Bob, and Brody. But that was basically our relationship. Her dad hated me. I wanted to take her away. That was our story. It did not have the same ending, but it was basically that story.
Although I haven't ever been in a haunted woods or anything like that, I'm going to go with Ash.
I don't see a chainsaw either.
I got both hands too. But he's a smart ass.
I don't have the chin either.
He's a smart ass, so.
Yeah.
And he works hard. Kind of like me. Yeah, I'm going to go with Ash. I like him. I'd play him if I were. Yeah. Ash.
Favorite TV show?
Right now?
We'll go with one from the past and one that you're watching currently.
Raw. Does that count?
I guess.
Okay, besides Raw. Well, it was Walking Dead. And Walking Dead's up there. It's like 1A and 1B with these two shows. But I'm going to go with Game of Thrones and Walking Dead.
Okay.
From the past, I like the early, probably about the first 7 seasons of The Simpsons.
Okay. Mine would be Psych. Sadly, the show is ending in like a week.
I don't know enough about it to say if I don't like it or not.
It's a good comedy show.
Aren't the Village Twins going to be on there?
I hope not.
I think they're going to be on there.
Oh, they were already on there this week.
Oh, okay.
That's who played the zombie chicks. Okay. But I really enjoy Psych. As for older TV shows, have a soft spot in my heart for Saved by the Bell. What else?
Gilligan's Island.
Ed was one of my favorite shows.
Batman?
I'm currently watching Dexter and really enjoying that. A show that I usually make most of my friends watch is Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip because it was written so well by Aaron Sorkin, also The West Wing. What film are you looking forward to most this summer? We already did a video on the movies we're looking forward to most this summer, but...
The Raid 2 is up there.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Really looking forward to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
That's blasphemy. Somebody said in the Rope Show said, "I'm such an Evil Dead fan, except Army of Darkness sucked." How can you not like Army of Darkness?
It's taste.
Yeah, I guess.
It's taste.
All right, we've got 5 people watching right now. I'm going to take 5 more questions, and then we're going to wrap this up for the night. So send them in. And
we got Chaplin movies to watch. If you weren't here earlier,
we got The Circus, Modern Times, Great Dictator, and The Kid.
Okay.
Seems like a good list. So I will take 5 more questions. Whatever they are.
5.
They can be about anything
like
except for wrestling.
Kind of like Monday. 5.
So.
Didn't I say King Kong Monday? 5.
In case anybody
was
wondering.
How can you not like Army of Darkness, though? I understand it's all about taste and whatnot, but I just saw that movie again in the theater last year, and I thought it was fantastic.
So did I. These questions can be about life. If you want to see pictures of something, we could try and present them.
What's your favorite religious movie?
Red State.
I wasn't expecting to hear that.
What? Were you thinking I was going to go Dogma with Buddy Christ?
Alright, fine.
Red State is a great movie. Speaking of which, Fred Phelps apparently died today.
How about The Robe?
The Robe? Don't even know what that is.
Ben-Hur?
I haven't seen it.
10 Commandments?
I have seen that.
Passion of the Christ?
I haven't seen it.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. It's just how it goes.
I'm going with Ben-Hur.
I guess while we're waiting for your questions to roll in, I should plug my friend's band. They are called Hazer. And you can't see for shit on there, but they are Hazer. They are on iTunes. I'm really good friends with most of the band. So if you want, check them out.
Give me some death metal.
The rock, they sound like the band Local H mixed with Nirvana.
They don't sound like Carcass.
No.
Or Gorguts.
I'm going to hit refresh to see if you guys left us any questions.
Or... Alright, what else do I listen to?
Are you excited for 22 Jump Street?
He is.
Definitely.
I really didn't care that much for the first one. I liked it moderately, just short of being able to recommend it, but it's not something I think it needed a sequel. But apparently it made enough money.
It was a movie that I knew the sequel was coming. It was a fine movie to just throw on a Sunday afternoon and laugh at, so...
I've only seen it once. I didn't go back and watch it again or anything, but I just didn't think that it needed a sequel.
In the Rope Show, it was missing the gore and horror of Evil Dead 1 and 2. And that's why he didn't like Army of Darkness.
Fair enough. But, it's... Yeah, okay.
Have you ever fallen asleep in the theater, and what movie was it?
Transformers 2. Transformers 2. Then I was rudely awakened by some stupid freaking explosion that was needlessly there. Okay, I'm awake now.
I have 2. I fell asleep during Lilo and Stitch because I was bored to tears. And the other one is The Hobbit. I worked a 9-hour day. We went to the midnight showing. I had to drive like a half an hour out of town to pick somebody up. We went to the movie. I was fucking tired. It was really, really cold in the theater, and I fell asleep.
You fell asleep in the cold theater. Wow.
Cold puts me to sleep way more than heat.
The only one I can remember is Transformers. I'm sure that there's probably been others, but that's the one that sticks out in my mind because I fell asleep at least for a good half hour.
The thing is, like, I watch a lot of movies on TV, and I fall asleep during those all the damn time.
Oh yeah, that don't count. But when I'm in church, I'm awake, and church to me is a movie theater.
Definitely. Worst movie-going experience in a theater. Like, not the movie itself, but
Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake, the first night that it came out, 7 o'clock show with all these frickin' teeny boppers. The place was frickin' packed, probably 200 people in there. Oh, just, teeny boppers out the wazoo and just acting like children. It's like they weren't there to see the movie. They were there to play grab ass with their friends and throw shit around. It was just terrible. I actually got a free movie out of the deal. I just had a terrible experience, and I talked to the manager, and he gave me a free pass for another movie.
At one point in my life, what am I talking about? Let me start over.
At one point in his life.
If this was to be edited, this would be edited out, because I just fucked up bad there.
Yeah, you did.
All right. I'm a huge fan of dinosaurs. I'm a huge fan of monkeys. So my friend Tom, a.k.a. the Green Meanie, got me the Jurassic Park triple set, and it came with a free ticket to go see King Kong. Now,
Peter Jackson, King Kong.
Yes, Peter Jackson, King Kong. Also a huge fan of Jack Black. So going into this movie, I had monkeys, dinosaurs, Jack Black. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be awesome.
Sounds perfect.
Behind me, I had a group of kids that would not shut up.
Ooh.
It is
always the worst.
It is one of the only times I have ever stood up in a movie theater, turned around, and yelled at somebody.
Well, at least you didn't shoot him.
I turned around and I said, you need to shut the fuck up or get the fuck out of the theater.
Ooh, such strong language.
And this was about 45 minutes into the movie.
Wow.
So I put up with it for a while, and people had gone out and complained, and nobody did. No ushers came in and did anything. The people behind them clapped because somebody finally said something to them. Outside of that, I went and saw the movie The Spirit, and there were some black people.
You went to that?
Yeah.
Ooh.
There were some people behind us. My friend Kurt turned around and told them to shut up. They talked about how they were going to wait outside the theater and kick his ass.
Wow. I can't believe you paid money.
So that was interesting.
Ilk.
We went to it on opening night, too. That's the worst part. Christmas Eve. That was our movie.
10 minutes into it, he's hitting him with a freaking toilet. I was like, oh, my God.
Here's what's sad. I really enjoyed the posters for that movie. They were really, like, pulp and, like, kind of dirty, kind of risque. Kind of like all our advertisements for that.
Yeah, and then you
Metal
go to the movie, it was freaking Looney Tunes.
Metal D and Mike Do It Live. Do you need the D? Because there's the D.
it's Looney Tunes, then.
Have you guys ever... Oh, I was an extra in 22 Jump Street. They had me throw out the camera for a drinking scene. Keep an eye out if they use the shot.
Will
Will do.
You
You don't even know what he looks like because you don't watch it in the rope show.
I'm going to check it out. By
In the rope show?
Before the movie comes out, I will know clearly what he looks like.
Oh, dog, we already answered that. Worst experience you ever had at a movie theater.
Yeah, we just did that one, didn't we?
Yeah, but we didn't read it off there. I just asked you.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
we got one more question. One more question. What's it going to
It's
be?
almost like we could read our viewers' minds.
Ha-ha. Also, I'm throwing this out there for the 5 of you that are watching. If you can think of a way for us to get more subscribers, get more views,
Tell 2 of your friends.
We feel a little more compelled to do videos if we have more people watching. Because, I mean, if our views are only at 58, what's the rush? Why go out there and do it?
You raised a good point.
So we're going to take one more question from In the Rope Joe and one more question from O-Dog, and then we're out for the evening. Because I am out of soda.
I got a little bit left.
I'm hoping there's a little
You can't
more
have
over
any
here.
of mine, though.
I'm going to walk over here.
All right. Oh, we got 4 questions. No, we don't. Let's try to see what he would do.
If you have a little one, apparently the hot thing is bubble guppies.
What?
I bought this for my niece, and so I'm sending it to her. Bubble guppies.
Bubble guppies? Let me see that.
Yeah. You know what the dog's called?
I have no
A
idea.
bubble puppy.
Seriously.
Yeah.
There's a dog that lives underwater?
Sure. I think there's like a delay in this thing, so.
You know, there's
They're only at 50.
They really don't make cartoons the way that they used to, do they?
No, they do not.
Poor kids. Why don't you just get her like the Looney Tunes box set or something?
She likes bubble guppies. I also find it hilarious that she likes my girlfriend more than me.
I don't find that to be
Do you miss
hilarious.
Cat?
I find that to be,
Do you miss Mike?
I find that to be, par for the course.
You also can continue to leave your questions for a Q&A coming up with me. If you don't leave questions, I'll just have to come up with my own. Here's the one from In the Rope Show. What is the worst remake that you have ever seen?
Ooh, there's so many of them. I talked about this earlier, about the Friday the 13th remake. That was one of them. Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. That was another one of them. Nightmare on Elm Street remake. That was another one of them. There's not a lot of remakes. It's almost like there's not a lot of remakes out there that are really worth it. Almost like a sequel. There's very few sequels that are better than the original.
Right.
Yeah, those three those ones I was just mentioning, those are just absolutely terrible. Terrible.
I'm trying to think of one.
I don't even know. There's no redeeming value in Texas Chainsaw and Nightmare on Elm Street.
I tend to avoid remakes.
So do I.
I really do.
But I had to give them a chance because it's kind of like trying to relive your childhood, perhaps. The Halloween remakes, those are stupid.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there for After the Credit Show. I'm Mike.
I'm Metal D.
Thanks for tuning in.
We will do this again. This was fun.
Yeah, the hour and a half we did this just kind of flew by.
Yeah.
So be sure to subscribe and look for more posts coming soon.
Subscribe down there or whatever. It's free. And tell 2 of your friends.
And have them tell 2 friends.
Yeah, and then maybe they'll tell 3.
Since 2013.
Of all the famous people you have met, was anyone an asshole? Not that I can remember.
Not really.
No. Just me.
We're trying to say the catchphrase here because we're closing it down.
What's a catchphrase?
Since 2013.
Oh, yeah, we've been reviewing movies.
For your pleasure.
Yours.
All 5 of you.
Yes, yours.
That guy over there.